you know, there hasn't been an idea in my head for many a year now. And it's something that I think I've got enough to at least do one a year, perhaps, for quite a few years, depending on what happens. So I thought I'd start, because it is the month of my birth, I'm going to start something called Megatron. Hello, and in this video for Megatron, I thought I'd start with a simple one, and one that most people might think is one of the worst Megatrons, which it's not great, but it's not the titanium Megatron, and there is one that I would argue is worse, even though a lot of people think is really good. A third-party one. The Authentics line was, I don't honestly know what it was. Was it for younger collectors? Was it just for cheap people? I don't actually know. There's two size classes. There's the Bravo and the Alpha class. This is the Bravo class because it's smaller. The Alpha class is a lot bigger and features a bit more to it. The Alpha class has a waist articulation due to the transformation, and the paint's a bit better and the details are a bit better. But other than that, if you just want a version of this just because you want one, I'd honestly go for the Bravo class because it's smaller and really don't cost as much, and that's the reason why you're getting it. It's cheap and you just want a Megatron for your collection. That's the only reason I'd ever bother with this thing. So, starting with the robot mode. The head, while not awful, could be a lot better, let's be honest. The eyes are nicely painted, and it might not be good on the camera, but the face is pretty well, even though it's painted in bright silver. The body looks a bit too big, but due to transformation, unfortunately, it just looks like he's got suspenders on. That's probably one of the appeals of this figure. It's just hilariously bad. It's got a Decepticon symbol on there, and it's actually moulded in. It's a bit raised, which is nice. A bit of red on the midriff. Could have done with a bit of wash, but it's about £4. Yeah, it is what it is. A little bit of paint on the lower region, which is nice. Black. Yeah, these are I think these are moulded. Yeah, these are moulded. A bit of paint on the thigh, on the lower legs, which is nice, and the feet are done in black. And we come to the back, and yeah, there is no back. In fact, yeah, it's like one of them really well done cardboard cutouts. You look from the front and okay, it's all right. You come to the back and oh, okay, it's not a real person. There's barely nothing on the back. There's some moulded detail. There's a lot of moulded detail. Yeah. Okay. His only accessory is his fusion cannon, and it's a cannon. It's not the best cannon in the world, but again, it's not the worst. You can plug it into either arm, actually, which is nice. You can't plug it into his hand because the fists are too big. I suppose you could put a big weapon in there if you really want to. Nothing to store on the back, but it's a Megatron. And really it should be like that, but because of transformation and because they couldn't be asked to put a peg on there, it's put on like that. Yeah. No. Oh, what do I grade this robot mode? 11. I think, yeah, and I think 11 is generous. Oh, yeah, and there's a bit of black on the tread detail there. Onto the articulation then, and there's a little surprise, but, well, let's get on with it. The head is on a ball joint. It's a little bit tight, but you can get it so far. Due to how the front bits of the head are, you can't move it all the way. It only goes so far, but it is on ball joint, so it gets some nice up and down motion. There's that. The arms can do a pseudo butterfly joint, and they're all on ball joint, so you get a nice range of movement. Doesn't go out so far due to how they are and due to how all this is. But it is what it is. The elbows are on ball joints, so there's that. So you can have him putting his hand on his hips, I guess. So there's that, I guess. No waist articulation, which, why should you be expected? I suppose this spin around, does that count as articulation? I'm clutching at straws, I know. The hips are on ball joints, so they go pretty far. And because of how flat the feet are, you can have him do a nice karate kick pose, which is what I have him stood in, and he stands quite well, as long as you don't bend the knees too much. So having kicking an Autobot, which is nice. That is the nice thing about the articulation. You can do that with it. What else we got? Oh yeah, the knees are on ball joints, and the feet, if you really want, can go out, but that's due to transformation. They can't go in. So he's got reverse ankle articulation. I don't know if that does anything for you. Articulation, like the robot mode, is not that great, but I like the fact it can do a high kick and hold itself up. Articulation, I'm going to have to go for an 11. It would be a 10, but the fact it can hold itself up and do a high kick gives it an extra point. On to the transformation first, and there's some frustrations, but it's not complex. It's got the instructions on the packaging. So first you want to do is take off the fusion cannon. You can do it with the fusion cannon on, but I find it's a bit better without. Come to the back, fold the arms in, and there's like these little nubs here which the arms do go into, and it's not pretty, but it's like that. Then what you want to do is try and finagle the legs and fold out the feet. Finagle the legs as well. One side is going to lose out, but once you've done, they should be like that. So fold these out, fold this out, fold this in, and fold this in, and get everything somewhat like. Then what you want to do is these little posts inside the arms where the cannon goes in. The instructions, surprisingly, because Hasbro with instructions are very hit and miss, let's be honest, they have been for many years, coming up to a decade, the instructions on the packaging do a better job. So that's how the gun's meant to go in there. And that's the transformation. Yeah. I'm going to give the transformation a 5 out of 25. It probably would be like a 7 or an 8 because of how simple, but it's alright. But the fact this thing clonking into each other, it doesn't need to be like that. And coming on to the alt mode then, and yeah, it's not great, is it? Let's be honest, the head's sticking out there. The cannon can move up and down, which is nice. The feet, at least it's got a Decepticon symbol on there. I mean, it's not great due to how dark the paint is. It's picking up a lot better on camera, but trust me, if you hold it, it's really dark. It's a lot darker in person. The tracks, the bottoms are painted. At least it's that. In the Cyberverse line, there is a Megatron that kind of looks like this, but it's also got a helicopter that's supposed to make armour. The helicopter does not work. And to be honest, that Megatron is worse because the transformation, there's a lot more, but it's got the same levels of frustration. And the helicopter doesn't work. And to be honest, the head sticks out a lot more on that one. This one has a lot more to try and hide stuff. I'd say hide stuff. This is better than that Megatron, but that ain't saying much. There's better Megatrons than this. There's better tank Transformers than this. There's better tank Megatrons than this. This alt mode, I'm going to give an 11 out of 25. It tries. That's all I've got. In conclusion then, this is this is a bad Megatron. It's not the worst of the Authentics line. It's not even worst of the Bravo class. There's Grimlock and Ratchet that's worse than this. And apparently RC is not that great, even though the alt mode looks alright for what it is. The best one of any of the Authentics line is honestly Shockwave, because its alt mode is kind of like the War for Cybertron, War for Cybertron, the original War for Cybertron Deluxe Shockwave, but honestly it looks a lot better than that. But this isn't great. The final score for this thing is 38 out of 100.